Hey friends, this is a video lesson for lesson 1.3 in our Earth, Moon, Sun unit of study. So we're going to click on this little Amplify login link, and that's going to take us over to Amplify. Now, real quick, just to recap. What did I do? There we go. Just to recap where we left off. It's important for you all to understand that the moon does not create its own light. Okay. When you are seeing the sun and part of it's lit or shining, that is the sunlight reflecting off of the moon's surface and bouncing into your eye. That's what you're seeing. Now, as we move forward, you might have noticed in our sim that there was an option to make it to scale and not to scale. So what does to scale mean? What does not to scale mean, and why is it important? So as you look here, you'll see these two gentlemen playing soccer on the left and on the right. One is to scale, that's the one on the left, and then there's one not to scale over on the right. And I want you to start thinking, why would it be beneficial to have a model of something that would be either to scale or not to scale? And what you're going to do is go down and answer these 1, 2, and 3 questions. Click that next button. Go ahead and pause and give yourself some thinking time, and then move on to part 2. So hopefully you paused and answered those questions. So for part 2, we're going to cover this vocabulary word really quickly, and that is scale, and that is just the relative size of things. So the size of the soccer ball relative to the soccer players, let's say, or the soccer field to the soccer players. Now, it's really useful to have something be not to scale, especially when we're talking about the Earth, Moon, and Sun system, because they're so enormous. So that's what, when you see to scale and not to scale in the sim, that's what it really means. All right, friends. So again, we can see the illuminated surface of the moon. And I want to show you a really cool trick real quick. You can always find out where the sun is relative to the moon just simply by starting at one point where you see the shadow, and drawing a triangle towards the bulge out in the front somewhere. It doesn't matter. You can draw it all the way out to here, or just right out to the very tip here, and then you draw another point along something like this, and wherever those 2 points come together, that's basically where the sun is relative to the moon. So right here, this would be where the sun would be for this moon. Then over here, we do the same thing. So we go from point to point. We draw a straight line, and we can see that the sun would be right about here relative to the moon in this picture here. Now, modeling is something that we can do to kind of wrap our minds around some big concepts. So a model is just a representation of an idea, okay? In this case, we're going to be doing some modeling with our hands-on activity. Now, you guys know we're not doing a lot of hands-on activities, but here's the deal. This is one that you can repeat, okay? So what you're going to do for your hands-on activity is you're going to actually go back to Google Classroom, and I guide you through it right here. It's just a 6-minute long video, and it walks you through the hands-on activity. And this is something you could even make up and do in your own home, as long as you're slightly creative. And then just to bounce back over here, so we're now all the way to part 4, because there's really nothing for you to record or do here. We're going to go to part 5. And in part 5, we're going to read this article, The Dark Side of the Moon. And this is a really cool article that explains why we have a dark side of the moon. And I won't explain it now. I'll let you read the article. I also go through it in the hands-on portion of today's lesson. So friends, make sure you read this article carefully, slowly, really pay attention to these diagrams. It really helps. One of the key things is that half of the moon is always lit, just like half of the earth is always lit. unless there's an eclipse. All right, friends, thanks for being here. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next.